I just thought I'd comment about a dream my wife shared with me. It was, I don't have all the details in front of my face right now, but I'll try. One of the interesting parts for sure was about some form of an alien race that's been here a long time that she has become aware of, called by a name that she didn't actually get totally. And it was the Mirage or Miragis or Miraji or Morags or something like that. And she identified them as ghost-like and rather, definitely had some form of agenda, I can't say if anyone knows what this word or name is, what this group might be that she had identified. That's cool. I'd like to hear it. The dream had something to do with Italy or Italians, and that she was thinking a bit about her heritage, which has some of Italian and France and a couple others. So in this case, the Italians were not able to identify that these beings were among them and that they are infiltrated in a large scale. So that's an interesting point. I remember now, and this point about the Italians was that, as for myself, my experience recently going to New York, I actually don't recall meeting any Italians from Italy, which was unusual, let's say, compared to the 50 to 100, I don't know how many different countries that people I met that weeks of time, and no Italians except for the ones that, of course, were in New York, which is a huge number of them, and or Italian descent, and also the Italian, the Catholic Church that I visited and sang in underneath Gabriel's horn statue there, and was basically using the place to be able to bring in the sound and so forth and so on, and or whatever, all these other things that occurred with that. So I find that interesting that the Italians, which is connected to the Catholic Pope, etc., were something that I had this impression were unaware or have a very strong system of indoctrination, one word for it, and the control and religious, social bias, so forth and so on. So that strikes me as interesting related to this, and I just thought I'd share that part of that. I wish I knew more. She really explains her dreams quite well, and I get to record some of them, but not all of them. And we have a interplay of dreams between us, which is useful because it helps identify in a number of ways individual problems and larger scale problems that we're dealing with. Social, political, governmental, economic, or psychological, and religious, of course, all of that stuff. So recognizing it as not really being anything in a true reality sense, I just wanted to share one other thing, which was a material that I sent to Val here in the Skype, and it was about a writer, very intelligent scientist, genius, and I don't remember his name, but it was like a 10-minute or so video, maybe longer, about this book and writings, which the most outstanding feature was this, that actually the so-called Big Bang idea, where everything's always expanding and or leading to a contraction at some point, or an ending, an entropy. It speaks about the entropy energy, and that actually we are, new you, etc., is approaching or working with the reverse or the inverse of this. In other words, we are now becoming aware of the ever, I could call it ever expanding, but I'm trying to say it's the opposite of entropy, which means the end of energy and then the dissipation and completion of that whole the creation process, let's call it. That there is another, the reverse view, we'll call it. DUANE may be able to much better describe this and speak to it. This idea, however, is of that there is an endlessness, and and in the real side is a totally different from this presentation we get here in creation, so to speak, seeking gods and all that, and God consciousness, self-realization consciousness, etc., whatever, which it appears to be as a process that way. That's part of that, yes, but I mean, it's inclusive. However, I found that interesting to pull that context, that the real side context or availability is of an ever-increasing nature, and it isn't a finite, and so quite the opposite of this fixed identifications that we're always given about this or that or the other thing. You become the Buddha, or a clear in Scientology, whatever, any of them, and or that we're waiting for the church or the government patriot system to be our savior, whatever the savior ideas are, and so forth, etc. Everything in that. So, okay, I'll send it back from Val. I'll copy it over here. Not that everyone needs to read it. I just it was refreshing to see this very much different scientific view, we'll call it, or almost the inverse, that is available to some of those who are aware. But again, it'd be like the difference between, looking out in the cosmos and seeing these stars, and maybe one day we're going to be able to communicate with them, as opposed to a place where we're saying we're actually in tune with all of them already, and with everything, and there isn't any going to it. As just one example came to mind. So thank you, DUANE and Val and everybody, and Charles, and appreciate it. I'll send it over now. And New You.
Hey, Peter, that's good. It's as we go along here, we better define what we're experiencing here, and this helps us, again, as a relationship to what's real. It's very important to get a better view on what we're going through, because you're seeing, many sides of what's been created. And again, creation is necessary. It's all very, very necessary, as we learn to recognize it as something, as a reference, and not just create things here that become our own solid reality. So as you explain this, that's good because you've gotten better views on this. And little by little, you start to see that endless isness. We just use that idea as a description, but yeah, it's something, again, that you cannot consider as you have. And that's the best part once you start to recognize it. So, no, that's very good, Peter. Thank you.